What are the strongest and weakest housing markets to start 2025? In today's video, we're going to talk about that, the areas in which prices are down the most, and of course, the areas in which home prices are still up by over 4%. I have a lot to share. Let's begin today's video. And of course, thank you for joining me. This is according to ResiClubAnalytics.com, not a paid promotion, but in my opinion, the best website looking at housing market trends. It says here, national home prices are up by 2.3% year over year, according to Zillow's Home Value Index. Historically, that reflects slightly softer growth because on average, their home values tend to increase by about 4.7% ever since the year of 2000. So on average, home prices tend to increase about 5%. This last 12 months, a small gain up by 2.3%. That said, several regional housing markets still have home price growth exceeding the national average or the historical average. Heading into 2025, these are the nation's strongest housing markets where sellers still have an advantage over home buyers, right? Also, among the 200 largest metro areas, 60 of these are experiencing local home prices up by 4.7% or more on a year-over-year basis. Also, looking at the 100 largest metros, 88 of them have higher home prices, which means that 88% of the 100 largest metros has a gain in home prices from 12 months ago. And this, of course, in contrast, means that there's only 12% of the 100 biggest cities in which prices are down year over year. It says here, while home prices have softened in Gulf markets like Texas, Florida, and Louisiana, where inventory has spiked above pre-COVID levels, most of the housing market in the Northeast and the Midwest still have inventory far below pre-pandemic levels and still elevated home price growth. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But here are the cities that had the biggest increases in prices this November compared to November of 2023. So leading the nation is actually in Syracuse, New York, up by 9.4. Then we have Rockford, Illinois, Binghamton, New York, and etc. Except for San Jose, the Sunnyvale area, up by 7.5%. Much of these cities are located in the Northeast and, of course, the Midwest. Here's another way to look at this, because much of the Midwest and, of course, the Northeast has increases in prices year over year, which is all areas in more or less green or dark blue. Also, parts of SoCal as well. So, for example, Los Angeles is up by 4.5%. Also in Las Vegas, also up by 5.3%. If we zoom in to Syracuse, New York, which is right there, again, they're up by 9.4%, the biggest gain among the 250 biggest cities. The reason for that, or one of the reasons for that, is due to inventory. Down there below, it says active inventory as of November was down 49% compared to November of 2019. Therefore, they have approximately half as many houses for sale compared to pre-COVID levels. On top of that, look at that. The shift since the local 2022 peak, they have higher home prices from 2022's peak, up by 19.3%. Now looking at Rockford, Illinois, again, the number 2 spot nationwide, it's up by 9.1% and up by 18% from the peak of 2022. And the 5-year change up by a whopping 58.4%. This is due to the fact that they have 61% fewer houses for sale compared to November of 2019. Also, if you guys are curious about California, where I live and work as a real estate agent here in Sacramento, we're up by 1.9%. We're still down from the peak from 2 years ago, but still, having said that, we're up by about 33.5% over the past 5 years. And that's due to the fact that inventory is down by 14% compared to pre-COVID. In contrast, in San Francisco, the Bay Area there, prices are up by 2%, and that's due to the fact that inventory is only up by 9% from that same time frame 5 years ago. In San Jose, much different though, because in San Jose, which is right there, San Jose up by 7.5% and up a whopping 44% over the past five years, due to the fact that inventory is down by 22%. In regards to the inventory levels, here's really a snapshot, and go figure, right? The areas that have a lack of inventory, which are areas in orange and red, compared to November of 2019, are areas in which prices are up the most. And of course, in contrast, areas that have a glut of inventory, especially in the Much of Texas, Louisiana, and Florida, for example, have home prices coming down. In contrast, in Punta Gorda, Florida, they're up by 81% over the past 5 years. Tampa is up by 20%, New Orleans up by 18%, and of course, Austin up by 43%, Phoenix up by 24%. Let's look at Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, Utah is up by only 14%. Also in Denver, they're up by 30.2%, whereas again in Sacramento, we're down 14.4%. So in regards to those markets in which inventories has grown greatly over the past 5 years, of course, many of these markets have a decrease in prices year over year. It says among the 200 largest metro areas, 28 of those are seeing home prices decreasing year over year, heading into 2025. This, by the way, was an article posted in December 27th. It says, while home prices are still rising in tight inventory markets, like we saw in the Northeast, the Midwest, and Southern California, other regional markets such as Texas, Florida, and Louisiana, where inventory is rising above pre-pandemic levels, are experiencing mild home price corrections. So for example, the biggest decrease year over year nationwide for the 200 biggest cities is actually Punta Gorda, Florida, down 7.8%. Then we have Cape Coral, Florida, Myers, down by 5.9%. The list goes on and on here. What really catches my attention regarding this list is that out of the 22 metros that had the biggest decreases year over year, they're all located in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. And again, this makes sense, right? Because New Orleans has 18% more houses for sale. Much of Florida, of course, has inventory up greatly, except for Miami. They're actually down by 4%. But again, Tampa up by 20%. And then we have Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida up by a staggering 62%. Again, Punta Gorda up by a staggering 81%. Ocala, Florida up by 49%. Orlando up by 32.5%. Palm Bay up by 40%. If we look at Texas, Austin, Texas is leading the nation really here, up by a staggering 42.5%. Also big increases in McAllen, greater area there, up by about 43%. But in Dallas, they're only up by 15%, quite a bit less than Austin, Texas. And Houston is down by 2.1%. So here's my biggest takeaway regarding today's video. Areas that have inventory piling up, especially areas that have a lot of home building, a lot of houses that are brand new that are for sale, are experiencing home prices going down or a small growth of home prices. In contrast, areas in which there's a lack of home building going on, a lack of supply, again, like the Northeast, the Midwest, for example, they have home prices up greatly from 12 months ago. And for those areas in which home prices are up the greatest, I really don't see that changing very much as we approach the spring home buying season, unless inventory starts spiking. And of course, I'll definitely keep posted with latest developments on that. So please like and subscribe, and please share this video on your social media. I appreciate you guys so much. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video.